When most people think about national defense, they picture soldiers, ships, and fighter jets. But the future of defense may depend just as much on software, advanced manufacturing, and the speed of innovation. My next guest has seen both sides of that equation. Former Congressman Will Hurd spent years working on national security issues in Washington and now serves as the president of Icon Prime, the federal division of Austin-based Icon, the company known for pioneering large-scale 3D printing and advanced construction technology. Will Hurd joins us now to talk about how innovation is reshaping defense, infrastructure, and America's competitive edge in the decades ahead. Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's a pleasure to be back on with you.
What is the mission of Icon Prime?
The mission of Icon Prime is simple. We exist to do three things. We're here to help repair military readiness. What does that mean? Our barracks, our installations are failing our soldiers. The Secretary of War has made it very clear that military readiness is eroded because of how the disrepair that these facilities are in. And a number of officials from multiple different administrations have said that our installations like barracks are as important as our weapon systems, just like our ships, tanks, and planes. The second area of Icon Prime is to enable force projection. In order for America to defend itself against our enemies, we have to project power in multiple places at the same time. And many of those places are hard. I've lived in some pretty dangerous places over my years, and I can attest to that. And the third is we're here to help with off-world construction. It sounds crazy saying that out loud, but we are going to be the builders to help on the moon and beyond.
You've already tested out what Icon can do, and you just finished some barracks. Tell me about that.
Look, we've done something that's unheard of. We printed 10 military barracks in 6 months. The military Department of War has said in Senate hearings that this project would have normally taken 24 months, and we did it in 6. And so not only are our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines be able to live in a place where they can recharge and be ready in order to defend our nation against our threats, we're doing it cheaper, we're doing it faster, and we're doing it better by using innovation. And these are the tools that Icon has perfected, here in North Austin. Whether it's making homes for the chronically homeless, or building luxury homes for families, or barracks for soldiers or astronauts, habitats for astronauts on the moon. This is what Icon does, and this is what's going to be important in order if America is going to stay, where in our position in the world for the next 250 years.
You had a huge test case in Georgetown and Wolf Ranch. You teamed up with Lennar. You built 100 homes. They flew off the market, and it turned out to be the specs turned out to be more efficient. They're sturdy, and then Icon Prime is developed. You're able to scale this. Icon made it a point of making sure they had the printers and they could scale this for other bases as well. That was a key part of it.
Being able to scale and execute, one of the things why is Icon and Prime still around is the vertical integration. We are creating a completely different industry. How you design, we're able to design these facilities quicker. How you execute on that is different. How you manage that process is different. The AI-enabled software you need in order to manage the big robots and the entire process. All of this is a new industry. We're training people how to build using robots. So this is what we've been doing over the last 8 years. And the proof point is at Fort Bliss in El Paso. And because of the success of that project, we moved on to Fort Polk, where we're now building 100 barracks. And my goal for the company is to build 900 structures over the next 5 years. And that's we're more than capable of being able to pull that off.
So you're talking about building barracks for military bases, but you also said you're going to take this otherworldly. They already have teamed with NASA. They're working with their Magic Creator, whatever their structure is, to see if they can print structures on the moon and Mars.
That's 100%. We've already demonstrated. The concept is simple. You scoop lunar regolith, right? That's the fancy word for moon dust, right? You flatten it. You lase it, you take a laser and you melt it to a certain temperature, let it cool, and then you repeat that process. And we're ultimately going to build what we call an engineering unit. That's another fancy word for a paver. And that's going to be the foundation of structures on the moon, whether that's roads, launch pads, habitats, shielding for nuclear reactors. Anything you do with concrete on Earth, you're going to be able to do with this regolith piece, and we're going to be demonstrating that as early as 2028. We've done all the testing with NASA over the years and shown that we've exceeded what they believe the strength of this unit needs to be, and we're excited to participate in this. I've been involved in the debates in Congress on, do we go to the moon, do we go to Mars, do we rebuild a new international space station? And this is a nonpartisan or a bipartisan support on going to the moon, and this is going to happen. You don't have to explain to a 10-year-old why we should go to the moon, but guess what? This is the ultimate high ground. The amount of science we're going to learn and be able to understand terrestrially what's happening, to be able to do that from the moon is really exciting, and to be able to go even further. So this is an exciting time. And in the next 250 years of this great country, you're going to see the United States of America become a spacefaring civilization.
You touched on it. Our defense readiness is so critical to make sure that we have the infrastructure for our soldiers and our forward bases and this base on the moon. How excited are you to be part of this innovation and also protecting America for the next 250 years?
Look, to me, it's a number of careers that are coming together. I used to represent Fort Bliss when I was in Congress. I sat on the appropriations committee that managed barracks construction. I've known of this problem that we had with our barracks, and so now to be part of the solution to that is really exciting. When I was in the CIA for 10 years as an undercover officer, and when I was overseas, my colleagues and I were getting shot at and chased by terrorists for 20 hours a day, and oftentimes we were having to go back and live in a shipping container. Right? That's not acceptable. And these were temporary facilities, but guess what? They're still in many of these places now, and many years later. So to be able to go build in these really tough environments and to provide a more secure location, a more dignified location for the men and women that are putting themselves in harm's way in order to keep us safe and to keep these ideas that have made us a great country for 250 years is really exciting.
Anything I didn't touch on or that you'd like to talk about? Because you've been on so many sides of this debate and on the front lines, and it's happening here in Central Texas. The innovation and dual use is really mind-blowing.
It really is. And here's what happens. It's like the amount of technical innovation we're going to see in our lifetime. The next 40 years is going to make the last 40 years look like we were a bunch of monkeys playing in the dirt with sticks, right? And that is happening here in Texas. That is happening with folks that are coming out of University of Texas or my alma mater, Texas A&M University. And guess what? The thing that has made this country great is that people thought big, were willing to take on these hard challenges, weren't scared of that challenge. That kind of spirit lives on. And what has made our country great over these last 250 years is not what we have taken, it's what we have given. And there are some great entrepreneurs, some great scientists and engineers that are continuing to give to the rest of the world.
Well, Hurd, thank you so much for your time. We're excited to see what's next. From here to the moon, here we go. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Defending the next 250. Thank you for joining us for a special edition of Tech This Out.